but this is a much better version that another teacher actually helped me put together. And it's like a not Google Classroom, Google Slideshow um, interactive work thing. So the the background of this is, of course, I think you guys know that there are different political parties that run the government, and they have different distinct ideas about how to run the government and what would benefit the people versus benefiting, um, like different things. So the big two that most people know are the Democrats and the Republicans, but there are actually hundreds more, like literally hundreds more, that have all different kinds of ideas. Some of them are very similar. Some of them are right down the middle that kind of the split the difference. And there are some that are just crazy, straight up. Like there are absolutely some that are just nuts. Um, but it's important to understand that actually from the very beginning, our first president was not affiliated with any political party. uh, General George Washington, he was the first president for 8 years. And then when he left office, he said, political parties are a bad idea. You should not like allow yourselves to kind of like be split up. Um, and we didn't listen. So, to a certain extent, our country's been defined by people dividing themselves. And unfortunately, even more so now, you see with the ripple effect of the coronavirus, it seems to be that the response of how we should handle it and what we should do going forward, unfortunately, is being very divided based on how people feel about their political affiliation. So it's not always a very helpful thing. Sometimes people don't want to even see the other side of the opinion. So what you're going to do is you're going to learn about how we went from no political parties with President Washington and him saying, don't, to where we are now, where we're so chiefly divided. So you've got 8 slides. Um, most of these are quotes or charts or videos. And this will be the kind of thing where it's going to require you to read. There will be correct answers in the text that I'm looking for, or correct answers from videos that I'm looking for. So this will be kind of graded for accuracy and um, not just for trying. But of course, this is also going to be worth a lot of points. So as we come into the last 2 weeks of school, if you are needing to get an assignment to really grab some points quick, this would be one of those. This is going to be about um, either 140 or 160 points. So pretty awesome. So first one is a quote from Washington that you will then find 3 different things that he thought that were going to be negative about political parties and why to avoid them. You then have a chart that's going to give you the kind of timeline of when different major parties popped up, what they stood for, and when they basically went out of existence, or how that power transferred from one party to the next. 3 more questions. I think this is just interesting because Trump has mentioned this, and maybe most people don't know it. Like, he technically is within the Republican Party, but that's the same party that Abraham Lincoln was a member of. And they seem like 2 very different people, 2 very different ideals. So it's just interesting to see how parties morph and change over time. Um, this is going to take you back to the 1860s when dinosaurs roamed the earth. Um, and you'll be recognizing this if you remember the electoral college assignment. These are all the same votes that used to come from these states. And look, I mean, remember California now is at 55. Texas is at 38. Back then, not too many people, so not too many votes. But you have a question about the geography split and the difference between those living in the North and the South at the time, right before the Civil War. You have a video here to watch. I think it's only a couple minutes long, and 2 questions to answer from here about when these ideas kind of switched. This is the best part. This is probably like the main reason why I'm giving you this. This is actually a website where you can take a quiz And it's just a very general, easy quiz, but it will give you a basic idea of where you might stand from a political standpoint. So then when you're done, take a screenshot and then drop it in here for your answer. This will actually count for 3 points. I can't actually show you on my keyboard how to take a screenshot. I'm hoping that either with your phones or with your smart teenage brains, you can figure it out. Here we got another chart comparing, contrasting typical Democratic and typical Republican viewpoints. Not everybody is like this, but these are the general stereotypes. And you get three different people explaining what it is that they might think about something. And from there, I would like you to use the clues to try to analyze what they might be. It's interesting to note that, like, not everybody falls in one particular side. Like, I myself would fall right down the middle. There are some things that I would go and I think the Democrats are right about. There's other things I think the Republicans are right about. And then there's other things that I don't care about at all because, personally, my faith and my belief in the Bible kind of trumps some things that our country does, where I just think, like, this is not even important at all in the big picture. Now, here's a chart that's going to show you some of the growth as well as the shrinking of some political affiliation within the past couple of years. And now you see some of the other, the Libertarian Party and the Green Party are some other smaller independent parties. 3 more questions to answer from here. And then the last one. This is going to be a big picture question about the role of debate and constructive conversation within kind of clashing. There's whole news shows and whole talk shows and whole magazines devoted just to hashing out political problems, debating issues, questioning people in government, questioning every decision that gets made. Literally, there's a whole subsection actually of our country where the spotlight is on every single day the politics of how our country is being run at the federal level, at the state level, and even at the local level, because people still care so much about what the Constitution stands for 250 some years later. So you'll need to read the quote and then answer your one last big picture question. So once again, this will be a Google Classroom exclusive.